Hello, Earthlings. I bring good tidings of tea. What's up? I'm Captain Mel Asylum, and here's another sip of Galactic tea. Hi. So, don't panic. Don't panic. Okay? Don't panic. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy! I had to watch this movie because my last birthday, I turned to life, the universe, and everything. This is my favorite type of speculative fiction. The goofy, funny kind. The point of the speculative idea is how we see ourselves in this world and how we affect it, which sounds very deep for something that has dolphins singing. It has that like British humor that I'm used to because growing up I used to watch a lot of public TV and they would show the British comedies like Keeping Up Appearances, and I haven't watched a lot of Mighty Python. Like that's like one of the huge things. There were quite a few chef Caribbean British comedy with like a jerk just being a jerk and everyone else calling him out on it, and he's supposed to have some type of like growth but he somehow doesn't. I just I'm accustomed to British comedy, not fully, like it's not like all of my youth, but a lot of my youth I watched a lot of British comedy and I love science fiction. So this was a very cool movie on top of the fact that I turned 42 and I was like 42. And especially since this time I could have a beer with the characters. I did not because I watched it at work. I probably should rewatch it, but I grabbed a beer on the way home and enjoyed one because beer comes up a lot in this movie for some reason, and it's kind of cool. It's like all this craziness is happening. Let's go to the pub and have a pint. And that's kind of like life, really. Because everything is always constantly changing. We can't keep anything the same. And we always have to go through changes to make those. We always have to go through changes while the things around us change. And we also have to make efforts to affect the change in some way if we want it to be beneficial. And all those things are just played with in this story because it's also a book, so I should just call it a story and not a movie. And I love that. I absolutely love it. It's fun because obviously I love speculative fiction, but I prefer comedies over horror. I appreciate horror, but to just chill out and laugh at something that I find really cool is really cool. So obviously my favorite line in the movie is, "Hello, Earthlings, I bring good tidings of beer. Hello, Earthlings, I bring good tidings of tea," which is slightly more appropriate for a British comedy, but that's not what they say in the book. So I'm bringing good tidings of tea. They brought good tidings of beer. Both are good. So I actually was 22 when this movie came out at first. So it's 20 years ago. It was 20 years old when I watched it. And I think that's what made me want to watch it because I saw online where they were talking about the 20th anniversary of the movie coming out. And then I'm seeing all the 42 stuff and I was turning 42. And I'm like, this is really cool. It also does a good job of showing different points of view on how you can um, deal with this one idea of coping with change. You have a character that doesn't want anything to change. Everything needs to stay the same. You have one character who wants to go see and explore. You have one character who has seen and explored. And then you have another character who It's the king of the universe, emperor of the universe, whatever he was. Um, my birthday was in June. It's October. I'm just now making this video, so um, I could have rewatched it or just looked up the names of the characters. But again, I am bad with names, so he's a whole nother story. Like he has effect on the universe, but he tends to have a negative effect on the universe. And the robot, the pressed robot. It's like, I gotta deal with this mess. I gotta keep dealing with this mess. I really related to that robot the first time I watched it. First time I saw it, I related to the robot. This time I was like, I wanted to go with the dolphins. Can I go with the dolphins? Oh, I'm done with this. Mm. I love the fact that it made fun of like bureaucracy and them having to be in line for things and then it not mattering because it kind of doesn't. It just gives order to things, but then some people like try to control things even more than they should. And how it's really fun. There are some like random stuff that pushes the storyline, but it fits into the idea of the craziness that is going on. It makes sense when you consider what character is doing this and why. So, and making fun of the idea that there are some things that we may never know, that we can't really have an answer to, and letting our lives be controlled by the fact that we don't know something or fill it in with something that is nonsensical, it's not going to help us deal with the things that are right in front of us. So, them asking the question, what is life, the universe, and everything, it was not something that needs to. Life, the universe, and everything is still going to go on, whether or not you know why or what it is or the meaning of it. Knowing the meaning of it isn't going to change the fact that you need to make your own meaning, which is probably the meaning of life, the universe, and everything. That we are energy that's working through it, and we need to go work through it. The energy is constantly it's constantly doing something. Even when it's doing nothing, it's doing something. It's sitting there. Like, and it's potential energy. So the energy is always in some type of transition. And to think that we're not going to be in transition is it's irrational, but it's also rational in the same. Because we have gotten to a point where we've made everything comfortable enough to not have to progress in order to survive, and we still have this need to constantly change and move and know that we're going to change and be comfortable with changing, because we are changing, and it is uncomfortable to try to make everything stay the same, which is pretty awesome. we should I love going through that thought process because it makes things so much easier, at least for me. Because if you know that life is just going to change, you can be okay with things changing. If you think things aren't going to change, you're probably going to be depressed when things change to something you don't like the little robot who is depressed about having to do everything and not having a say in how you live your life and not doing anything about expanding your life, because your life should be an expansion, and closing that up. It's not how life works. It's not how the universe works. The universe is always expanding. It's evidence that the universe is expanding. We should be expanding too. We don't physically have to expand, but we're always constantly, I keep saying changing. I'm bad. But if you really think about it, like, some people might get mad at you for changing in ways that, or you might get mad at yourself for changing in ways that you don't expect to, like aging, which you're going to probably look at me and think you don't have that problem. Well, I mean, I can still age in other ways. I get migraines all the time for some reason. What's up with that? And your body changes and eating differently, and you have to start eating differently in order to not like get the changes that you don't want. Gaining weight, yes, those changes. So that's my thoughts and opinions of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I do need to go read the other books because if I like that one, I'm probably going to like the other books. And one of the things that I did not like about this story was it ending. So I most definitely should do that. And I should probably do some videos about some books too, because a lot of the movies that I've talked about, books. And I've been exploring. Obviously, I've explored a lot of science fiction books, and I should probably just come and talk about them too, because that would be great. And then remind you that I'm an author and that I have a book that you can buy. So, see ya. If you've gotten this far in this video, you may enjoy the Voices in Hyperspace, where me and some friends get together and talk about science fiction. I also have a book called Unrooting the System, available on Amazon. Go get yours. It's also on Unlimited, so if you want to read it for free, you can. And I would absolutely love to read your reviews and respond to them.